There's my paint palette and my brushes and my green screen invisible spray bottle. This is a rag where I wipe off my brushes to change colors. And this is the big painting I'm going to be working on today. This is the painting I'm going to be working on today. I've been working on it for years, off and on. It's about 4 by 6 feet, and it's obviously geometrical. There's my palette of colors that I have going right now, and this is a rag I wipe my brushes off on in between colors, and these are my brushes. This is my bin of paint tubes, and again my brushes. But of all my brushes, these are the ones I use the most. These are my favorites because they're small tipped. As you can see, the tips are very fine, just very few amount of hairs. And some of them I've cut off some of those hairs to make them even finer. Like here, the one on the left has had some hairs trimmed off of it compared to the one on the right, so that it could paint finer lines, such as that very fine black line there. So for Celtic art, you need fine paint brushes. Das Goravani's favorite paint brushes. Give you a size perspective. They're small. And these are my most favorite for the finest of all. They can make very fine lines. There's the tips of my Fave 4. And the big old painting that we'll be working on. These guys get to do the brunt of the work, huh? They're the spearhead of the army of art. Away! Here I am, and the painting I'll be working on today, showing you what I'm doing. Okay, so today we're going to be taking black and finding places like this purple loop here, where on this side, so the light is in that direction over there. Okay, that's why the shadows are on this side. So the sun is hitting this way. You can see light lines on, let's call it the northeast. I always put the sun in the ninth house from the east of the painting, so the east is to the left, the ninth house is that way. And so the sun is coming from over there this way. So we're shadowing in pits and highlighting in the rises of the painting. So for example, I might want to make this shadow pit on its very darkest, deepest edge more black, so that it gives the illusion of the infinite drop. Now this purple thing doesn't have any edge yet. I have to remember I have paint there now. So this is the dark side of this purple object. And it's not on the outer edge that you want to put the black paint. It's on the inner edge, which would be the really underneath, inside underneath this purple thing. And then the lighter shadow stands for the fuzz of shadow that is beyond the very, very dark inner edge. This is the way it is in nature. This is where I'm getting this. It's not a mystery or anything. It's that, you know, the shadow is heaviest on the inner edge. Voila. Very simple. Let's pick somewhere else. How about here, this blue loop up in here. So put you in the direction of the light, and so your light coming at me, so the shadow is on this side. And there's no shadow on that because that's an overbeam. And the light's going to begin about here again because the light's coming this way, so it's going to start hitting here, and you can see a blue highlight I put there. So I don't want to blacken all the way. I want to blacken to about here, you know, 45 degrees from the center, and it really should taper off there. It should taper off into a zero line. So I kind of blew it. I made it thicker at the end, so I'm going to make it thicker up here to compensate. And I do that freely because I'm a free person. And you can do this sometimes and kind of wear it out. Alright. Next I'm going to thicken the inner one to compensate as well. And then do the other side, which looks like it was touched before. Has a little bit of black paint there. And we see the light starting too early. So we'll blacken that out and let it start where it should, which is right about there. And we'll just kind of go underneath that a teeny bit as if it had an undershelf. Well, about there. Alright. Next, this place here needs a line. It's got some darkness, but it doesn't have the black inner line. So we're going to go ahead and give it its black inner line. That thing is an overshadow from this purple thing. It's acrylic with very little paint in it that I put on once upon a time to make shadow for those things. A lighter shadow. Today what I'm doing is the ultimate dark lining, where you really put the dark line on things. Let's see if we want to do here and get you to see it. There we go. So, the light side and the dark side of the Roman moat. Looks like a grassy field with a Roman moat, huh? Around a castle. So the dark black line goes in the base of that. Goes in the very basin of it. And now that looks like it pops more. Now, Right next to it we got these green things. I don't know what they are, green Roman roads or something. And we'll go ahead and do those. Since the light's coming from up there, I'm gonna do this underside first. And the light's coming like that, so I can catch a little bit of this here, but not much, because it starts to curve up towards the light. Okay, here on should actually be highlighted. Now here's shadow that's wrongly placed. Sometimes I just paint to paint. What can I say? And I don't do it right per se. So there should be shadow here and here. It is damn hard to keep focused on my hand, I gotta tell you. See how that black line makes it pop so much more? And bring it out a little bit, and so you can more easily see me do a larger section. Alright, I'll work up in, let's see, where's your range? Our range is from there to here. That'll make it easier if I turn it straight for myself. Nope. Oh no, it's upside down. That's crazy. Okay. Oops. Great, wasn't recording. Great. Okay. We're painting the shadows on the underside of things, such as here. You can see the black line I painted there. We can continue it now to make this pop more. And this blue line, got it over here, but it needs it over here. This one's stronger, top and bottom. We can give a little bit of a shadow to this pile of white stuff. Alright, we need one. Well, so the light comes this way, so this is done reverse actually, but I'm going to go with it. This should be dark and that should be highlighted, but I'm going to stick with what I got going so far, because the painting has a lot of work in it, a lot of time in it. Alright. So, the underside of this guy needs a dark light. We've all heard of a highlight. What about a dark light? That's what I'm doing today, I'm dark lighting. I'm making the darkness more apparent. Which makes the light more apparent. That's the whole point. Things pop when you dark line them, because thereafter That dark paint simply sets off the brilliance of the color around it. Bit of a thick load of paint on the brush that time. This was done very sloppily one day. Some days I get sloppy. It's hard for me to deal with that right now in my mind. I kind of don't like it when I mess things up. I did mess this up one day. Obviously the black is a little smudgy. Getting cleaned up a little bit right now by me putting a line along it. That'll help. It's not that big smudge perpendicular to what I'm painting that I'm talking about. Now that's a shadow from a big purple over Ookie. Alright, are you up in here? Yes you are. So let's do some up in there. From here on down, okay. Let's go ahead and start. Just do some areas that lead on down to themselves. Oops, see, got a black thing on my face. You got to be careful where you put your paint before. Otherwise you run into that kind of mistake that you have to fix later. So, what I do is I usually set my pinky on the painting somewhere where I know I haven't put paint. I put my pinky down, and that's the only thing I leave, and then I paint. This time I set my hand down, so I kind of blew it. So pinky's down, I'm painting a line, and put another finger down to steady the hand. It's getting older. Pinky down in the middle of the purple. I'm going to put a little thicker line on this one than I did earlier. Alright. Here we go with no ruster. Totally freehand. Hey, mama, I still got it. And I put down my pinky as a rester, finish it off. And let's see what else we got going on here. Let's top this guy off. And this vein needs one down the side, never had it. Okay. Looking really heavily in this area. Okay. Let's go in here and get some of those going. Somewhere a little easier for both of us. I think I'll do this fleur-de-lis right here. And back you up so you can see the whole thing. Because I'm tired of moving you around. There you go. And a little... Okay, now I've got the whole fleur-de-lis. Alright, fleur-de-lis and 3 purple hot dogs. Dun, 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 dun. and my tray of paint, which I'll let you see how I dab a doodle. Whoops. If I set it on paint, it's going to smear it, see? See, I'm a retard. I do things wrong all the time. I'm not there. Okay. Now let's put the black towards the fleur-de-lis. And let's blacken away. Alright. Dip brush, paint line. This is my life. Dip brush, paint line. I wonder how many lines I've painted in my life. And how many swirls. Because man, I painted a lot of Celtic art and it's got a lot of swirls in it. Alright. And the light's going to start about here, so this blue thing's line needs to come down a bit further. Out here. And back to the fleur-de-lis. I call it that, but that's not what it is. Just sort of looks like a fleur-de-lis, kind of, sort of. And that's good enough for me. Now, you might notice me rotating my fingers as I go. Like this. And I like rotating my fingers as I paint a line. Let me show you. Watch them rotate. And the reason is to get an even, to get the paint all off the brush, because it's all the way around the brush. And it keeps the flow more even, like instead of depositing it all at one end, it deposits it along the way. And things go better that way. It also keeps your brush hairs wound up so that your stroke doesn't become fatter. If your stroke starts to become fat, you turn your brush and the hairs naturally get twisted, which naturally binds them back together. This should have a shadow all the way. In some positions I cannot twist my fingers and the brush, but in others I can. Right now I'm twisting.